What if the person you love never actually existed? That crippling confusion keeping you awake at 3 a.m. isn't anxiety. It's a meticulously calculated psychological slaughter. Stay until the end to discover how this synthetic illusion hijacked your mind, and exactly how to shatter their invisible prison forever. Imagine the dead of night. It is 3 o'clock in the morning, the world around you is completely silent, yet your mind is a deafening war zone. You are staring blankly at the ceiling, your eyes burning, your brain feeling like it is on the verge of a total catastrophic failure. You pull at your hair, a sickening knot of anxiety resting heavy in your stomach, whispering into the suffocating dark. Am I the one who is crazy? Is it my fault? Or am I actually losing my mind? Your vital energy is utterly drained, leaving you feeling like a defective battery desperately flashing red, inches away from a permanent blackout. Frantically, your trembling fingers scroll through endless text messages, overanalyzing every single sentence, every fleeting glance, desperately trying to stitch together a shattered reality that simply no longer makes sense. This paralyzing confusion is not an accident, and it certainly is not a flaw in your character. It is the chilling aftermath of a meticulously calculated brainwashing campaign, an invisible psychological slaughter orchestrated by someone you deeply trust, whether that is a romantic partner, a boss, or perhaps even your own flesh and blood. The Wealth Ladder 6 warmly welcomes you to a journey of absolute awakening. If you have ever felt this crippling self-doubt, if you have ever been pushed to the very brink of your own sanity by someone who claims to love you, you are in the exact right place at the exact right time. Before we dive headfirst into the darkest corners of human manipulation, please hit that subscribe button to support the channel. Your subscription is the vital fuel that keeps us exposing these hard-hitting truths and creating the content that arms you against the world's emotional predators. I need you to stick with me until the very end of this video, because what you are about to discover will permanently and irreversibly alter the way you view every single relationship in your life. We urgently need to rewrite the societal definition of abuse. We have been dangerously conditioned to believe that violence only counts when it leaves a visible bruise, a shattered bone, or a bloody scene. That kind of primitive, physical brutality is outdated, and frankly, it is far too easy for the legal system to identify. The modern era has birthed a far more sinister breed of predator. Today's violence is dead silent. It is entirely invisible, perfectly camouflaged beneath the glittering wrappers of passionate love, fierce loyalty, or those seemingly harmless moments of quiet that are actually laced with lethal venom. A psychological abuser has no interest in striking your physical body. Instead, they aim directly for your cognitive core. They systematically dismantle your operating system of beliefs, twisting the truth until you are forced to hit the self-destruct button on your own identity. They use nothing but words and calculated omissions to seize absolute control of your reality, turning you into a compliant, exhausted puppet dangling from their invisible strings in the dark. Think of it as a parasitic investment where you pour in your soul, your time, and your sanity, only to realize the emotional bank has been completely emptied by a con artist. I am not telling you this to throw a pity party or to romanticize your suffering. I have seen the absolute devastation these relational Ponzi schemes leave behind, creating hollowed-out shells of brilliant people who simply forgot their own worth. We are stepping into this arena today as cold, calculating strategists. We are going to rip the mask off the emotional scum who drain your life force, exposing the raw, unvarnished truth about how they operate. I will hand you the most ruthless, ironclad methods to shatter their illusions forever, allowing you to reclaim the steering wheel of your destiny so that absolutely no one will ever have the power to drag you into the dark again. To understand how to tear down this psychological prison, we must first examine the meticulous, deceptively beautiful way it was constructed around you. You did not wake up one morning and simply decide to hand over your autonomy to a predator. You were expertly lured into a gilded cage by someone who studied you with the precision of an apex hunter. In the beginning, they did not show you their teeth. They showed you a mirror. They listened to your deepest insecurities, your unspoken dreams, and the childhood wounds you thought you had hidden from the world, and they weaponized that very data to become your perfect puzzle piece. This is the stage we often romanticize as finding a soulmate, but in the realm of emotional manipulation, it is a highly calculated infiltration. They flooded your brain with dopamine through grand gestures, relentless attention, and promises of a future that felt almost too good to be true. I want you to hear me clearly. Falling for this does not mean you are weak or naive. It means you have a functioning human heart, a natural biological craving for connection that they clinically hijacked. Once they became the center of your universe, the architecture of the trap shifted subtly. The overwhelming affection began to be rationed, replaced by microaggressions so small they felt completely absurd to complain about. A slightly condescending tone here, a canceled plan there, a backhanded compliment wrapped in a joke. When you tried to address these tiny fractures, you were met with wide-eyed innocence or accusations of being too sensitive. This is the exact moment the concrete is poured over your intuition. They train you to doubt your own internal alarm system. You start swallowing your grievances to keep the peace, unknowingly signing away your right to basic respect. You convince yourself that the golden period of the relationship is the reality, and these dark moments are just temporary glitches. But from where I stand, having watched countless beautiful minds get devoured by this exact process, I can tell you the terrifying truth. The monster you are seeing now is not an aberration. The perfect partner you met was the illusion, a synthetic persona manufactured entirely to bypass your defenses. They studied the blueprint of your soul not to cherish it, but to locate the exact load-bearing pillars of your self-esteem so they could plant their explosives. Once the explosives of doubt are planted within your mind, the systematic demolition of your reality begins in earnest. We are now entering the phase of psychological warfare where the abuser's primary objective is to sever your connection to objective truth, leaving you entirely dependent on their warped narrative. This is the suffocating fog of gaslighting, a term thrown around casually in pop culture, but profoundly devastating when experienced in the trenches of daily life. You find yourself engaging in mental gymnastics that would exhaust a philosopher. You start secretly recording conversations, taking screenshots, or frantically writing down what was said just to prove to yourself that you are not experiencing memory loss. They will look you dead in the eye and deny an event that happened 10 minutes ago with such terrifying conviction that you actually begin to believe your own brain is betraying you. This is not just lying. This is reality distortion. It is a hostile takeover of your cognitive faculties. What makes this phase so uniquely agonizing is the profound, suffocating isolation it breeds. They slowly engineer conflicts between you and your support system, subtly dropping seeds of doubt about your friends or family until you naturally pull away. They paint themselves as the ultimate victim in every scenario, casting you in the role of the perpetual aggressor. You spend your days agonizing over how to say things perfectly, walking on eggshells that are already crushed to dust beneath your feet, trying to defuse a bomb that is designed to detonate regardless of what you do. I have sat with people who were brilliant executives, fearless artists, and fiercely independent thinkers, and I have watched them weep as they asked for permission to simply exist in their own homes. The tragedy here is the expenditure of your vital energy. You are using all your intelligence and empathy to try and fix a relationship, completely unaware that you are playing a game of chess against someone who has already set the board on fire. They do not want resolution. They want your destabilization, your confusion, your tears, and your desperate pleas for them to understand you are the exact currency they use to fund their own fragile ego. You are trying to explain the mechanics of breathing to someone who is actively holding your head underwater. Recognizing this distorted reflection is only the dawn of your awakening. The real battle lies in executing a flawless, unyielding exit strategy. You cannot negotiate with a psychological terrorist, and you cannot heal in the exact same environment that is actively making you sick. The instinct of a compassionate heart is to seek closure, to sit down one last time and passionately explain how much they hurt you, hoping that finally, the light bulb of empathy will switch on in their head. I need you to abandon that fantasy immediately. Seeking closure from a manipulator is like going back to a venomous snake to ask why it bit you. You are only going to get bitten again. Your desire for an apology is the very last string they hold, the final hook keeping you tethered to their control. To break free, you must implement a strategy of absolute emotional starvation. This is not about being cruel. It is about self-preservation in its purest form. You must become a barren wasteland to their dramatic inquiries, a concept known as becoming the gray rock. When you are forced to interact with them, you strip away every ounce of emotion from your voice, your face, and your words. You offer nothing but monosyllabic answers. You do not defend yourself against their wild accusations, you do not justify your actions, and you certainly do not counterattack. A predator feeds on your emotional reactivity. Whether that reaction is profound love or blinding rage, it is all sustenance to them. When you stop bleeding emotion, they inevitably starve. In the silent space of your withdrawal, they will likely escalate. They will launch smear campaigns, attempting to destroy your reputation to anyone who will listen, playing the wounded martyr. Let them. Your silence in the face of their chaotic noise is your ultimate shield. It takes a terrifying amount of discipline to bite your tongue when someone is assassinating your character, but you must realize that true power is not proving them wrong. True power is making them utterly irrelevant. You are severing the parasitic tie not by cutting it with a dramatic flourish, but by letting it wither and die from absolute neglect. You are taking back your energy, pulling your troops back across the border, and sealing the gates to your mind. Leaving the battlefield behind is merely survival, but the ultimate revenge is reconstructing a life so blindingly brilliant that their darkness can never reach you again. The aftermath of escaping an invisible prison is not a sudden, joyful leap into freedom. It is a raw, exhausting process of grieving a person who never actually existed. You are going to mourn the ghost of the soulmate you thought you had, and you will have to forgive yourself for falling for the illusion. Do not dare carry the shame of what happened to you. Shame thrives in the dark, and by dragging these mechanics into the light, we strip that shame of its power. The fact that you were targeted is a testament to the fact that you possessed a light, an empathy, and a vitality that they desperately lacked and wanted to consume. Now, the monumental task before you is radical reclamation. You must sift through the rubble of your shattered identity and decide, with cold, deliberate intention, which pieces you are going to keep and which pieces belong to the programming they installed. This is where you rebuild the empire of your soul, but this time, you do not build it with open, unguarded doors. You build it with a fortress of non-negotiable boundaries. You learn that no is a complete sentence that requires no justification, no apology, and no trailing explanation. You will rediscover the hobbies you abandoned, the friendships you let fade, and the quiet, beautiful peace of sitting in a room where absolutely no one is trying to manipulate your perception of reality. As you heal, something incredible will happen. The profound hypervigilance that once tortured you will alchemize into a superpower of hyperawareness. You will be able to spot the subtle red flags of a manipulator from a mile away. You are no longer prey, you are an apex survivor equipped with a radar that cannot be fooled twice. Your story does not end in the role of the victim, broken and diminished by a con artist. It ends with you stepping into complete sovereignty over your own mind, your own emotions, and your own destiny. The invisible prison has been dismantled, the illusion has been utterly shattered, and from this day forward, the only person writing the script of your reality is you. Escaping the invisible prison of emotional manipulation is not just about leaving a toxic relationship. It is a profound journey of reclaiming your absolute sovereignty. This psychological warfare begins with a deceptive mirage, where a predator mirrors your deepest desires to gain entry into your mind. Once established, they systematically dismantle your reality through gaslighting and isolation, turning your empathy into a weapon against you. You exhaust your spirit trying to negotiate with someone whose sole objective is your destabilization. However, the path to freedom requires abandoning the illusion of closure and embracing the absolute discipline of emotional starvation. By employing the gray rock method and cutting off their emotional supply, you neutralize their power over you. The ultimate victory is not found in proving them wrong, but in making them entirely irrelevant to your existence. As you sift through the rubble of your shattered identity, you must shed the unwarranted shame and recognize that your empathy was targeted because of its inherent power and light. The rebuilding phase transforms your hypervigilance into hyperawareness, forging an unbreakable fortress of non-negotiable boundaries. You emerge from this ordeal not as a broken victim, but as a sovereign architect of your own destiny, permanently immune to future deception. True healing is the radical reclamation of your peace, your truth, and your unwavering right to exist fully on your own terms. Empathy without boundaries is self-destruction. The most valuable currency you possess is your emotional energy and your attention. Manipulators do not win by being right. They win by keeping you engaged in their manufactured chaos. Start treating the word no as a complete sentence that requires no justification or apology. Stop over-explaining your feelings to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. If an interaction or relationship consistently leaves you drained, confused, or doubting your own memory, trust your internal alarm system immediately and pull back. Protect your peace by investing your energy exclusively in environments built on a foundation of reciprocal respect, where your reality is validated, not interrogated. What is one non-negotiable boundary you have set for yourself to protect your mental health and peace? Please politely share your perspective in the comments below so we can all read, learn, and draw inspiration from each other's experiences. If you found value in this message, please subscribe to the channel. Your support is exactly what gives us the motivation to keep producing deep, meaningful, and empowering content for you next.